All right. Well, hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Monterey Bay Aquarium live here on Twitch. My name is Emily, aka Monterey. Here, I am part of the social media team at the Monterey Bay Aquarium. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. How's it going? Thanks so much for hanging in with us while we were working out some tech troubles there just a moment ago. We got our good friend, our colleague, our buddy Patrick, aka Rick Etz, as always, joining us this afternoon from his house across the bay. Hey, Patrick, how's it going?
Oh, it's going good. I'm so excited. I'm just running around here, getting so ready for the stream that we have here this afternoon. I'm Ricketts of Punnery Row here with my rain hat. The quarantine beard is looking strong right now, and my waders, and we are getting ready to go and take a closer look at some of the amazing animals that we have here in Animal Crossing, and in particular, animals that we have not focused on a whole
Yeah.
lot. You know, we've talked about ocean fish, we've talked about bugs
Oh
a
my
bunch,
gosh. This is
but
perfect timing,
oh,
Patrick.
look at
Yeah.
this.
Oh
What's
my gosh. I
happening?
think we finally got it to go.
Yes.
But yeah, we're talking about some new stuff. We're freshening up this stream
Ooh.
as we said before. Uh, we've got Doctor Doctor Bernie. Bernie is on his way out. Doctor Icky.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Uh, on his way to our island right now to talk
Dr.
about.
Icky.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. To talk about some freshwater ecosystems, freshwater fish, everything that we've been kind of floundering talking about lately on this stream. We have brought in the expert over at the Tennessee Aquarium, Dr. Bernie. Bernie, how's it going?
Pretty good. That was a really smooth flight. It just feels like I didn't leave my desk.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
That Dodo Airlines there. Really comfortable
A
stuff.
really fast flight, too, from
Flightless
Tennessee to
bird.
California.
It was a pretty good flight for a flightless bird. Yep.
Hey.
Yeah, it's the type of comfort that only an animal that is low to the ground would understand, you know. This is really great. So Dr. Bernie Kujahda, you are joining us right now on the island. It's so good to see you. Sarah is controlling Bernie's avatar. So we're over. Yes.
There we do.
Woo!
Yeah.
This is awesome. Now I can finally take a screenshot and tweet it out that we're live. Everybody, let's get excited.
We're there.
Let's get some
Oh, we
W's in the
made
chat,
it.
everybody. Let's get some W's for Dr. Bernie joining us here on the island.
All right. I saw someone said that the audio was a little wonky there, so I'm just adjusting my levels to kind of match you guys here. I think that should be better if you can hear Patrick and Bernie better now. That should work. That's looking
All right.
better in OBS. Yay! Oh, we did it. It took us only 16 minutes this time. I mean, as far as our record goes, Patrick, that's pretty good.
It is looking pretty good. Yep. Yeah.
And I am attired in my fish shirt, which I have over 50 of them, and that is my unofficial official uniform I wear every day to the Tennessee Aquarium.
I love it. It's very good fashion. As you can see, you are in good company. We've got our Mola sweater on over here, so we're big fans of the fish fashion here, both in stream and out of stream in real life. We love that. Well, Dr. Bernie, do you want to just kind of quickly introduce yourself and your role at the Tennessee Aquarium? Give folks a little bit of an idea of what your job, what a day is like in the life of Bernie.
A day is fabulous. I have the best job in the world. I study mostly Eastern North American freshwater fishes, small and large. I concentrate on threatened and endangered species of fishes. I study everything from sturgeon to minnows, darters, top minnows, little miniature catfishes, just a whole range of fishes in a whole range of habitats, from large river to smaller rivers, streams, creeks, springs. I even do some cave work with cave fishes. So a little bit of everything.
So
And
cool.
I've been doing this for over 35 years. How did that happen?
Wow, incredible.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think that might be the older than the two folks that you have here on stream with you. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 31, so you've got
Yep.
4 years of fish knowledge on my entire lived experience. So I'm
Yeah.
just going to go with whatever you can come up with is going to be irrefutable on our end. So I hope that the Twitch chat and everybody that's tuning in right now, the audience is appreciative of just the level of knowledge that we go looking for to bring you these streams. Longer than I have been on this here earth, Bernie has been looking at our fish friends. So thank you so much for taking some time to educate all of us over here. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh, I wouldn't miss this for anything. This is fun already, and we've just started.
Yeah. Well, it looks
Good
like
stuff.
you two have your fishing rods ready to go.
Oh, yeah, let's
we want
go.
to start off with a little bit of fishing.
Let's do it. Yeah, I've just tweeted out to the world that we're live. I know that folks know that we're good to go over on Instagram, and I'm going to let some other folks know here very soon. So we should have even more friends joining us here on this little fishing trip.
Real quick for
Oh,
those
wait, hold
folks.
on. Who's our friend?
We've got two new friends here on the island here, Patrick. Number one, we have Hopper. The rock hopper penguin is one of our new neighbors, and we also have Wade the penguin. So now we have three new penguin but three penguin neighbors here on Monterey Bay. To join Rolled, we've now got Wade and Hopper too.
I was just gonna say that's some penguinning content. Yeah, we got Octopod Robocop there in the chat, penguinning right now. That's exactly right. Yeah. Wow, that is so.
You guys are into the flightless birds, I see.
Yeah, quite. Yes, they are.
Yeah. Well, we mostly want everyone to look dapper at the many receptions that we hold on the island, and the tuxedo burbs are ready to go every time.
Yeah.
Well played.
All right.
We want to do a little fishing in the river right now.
And while we go looking for the river fish, Dr. Brain, can you tell us a little bit about what it's like to be a fish biologist? You know, right now we've got our fishing poles and stuff. What does it look like when you're gearing up for an expedition to go look for some of your fish friends to study? How close is this to real life?
So I do use a rod and reel when we go to northwestern Mexico studying undescribed species of native Mexican trout. But our typical gear, our chest waders, very nice in neon tetra. What a gorgeous little fish. Our typical gear, we get in chest waders and we use a seine, which is a net that has floats on the top, lead weights on the bottom, a pole on either side, and our weapon of choice is 10 feet long and 6 feet tall or deep. And you either pull that through the water or in flowing water, you set it and you do what we call a little darter shuffle. You move back and forth, disturbing the rocks and scare the darters and other bottom fishes up in the current, and they get washed into the net and you lift it.
Wow. That sounds I'm trying to figure out so what you're saying is with that seine net, you know, the results might be insane when you find them if it's successful. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Sorry, I just had to shoehorn in another pun there for the pun counter there.
That's okay, Patrick, because I have the button now.
Perfect. And seine, by the way, SEINE, in case you were wondering. So we actually talk about that at the aquarium every so often. Purse seines are what the squid fishing boats were using off the back deck of the aquarium a few months ago that you may have seen. So purse seine, seining generally is that type of net there. So, all right, we got that pun in there. And I see that Sarah caught a fish there for you there, Bernie. Which one was that there, Sarah?
Well, what was that?
It was we want
a black bass here. So we've got two different fish here. I've got a bluegill, and then Emily here has a black bass. What can you tell us about these types of fish?
Okay, so both of these fishes are native to Central and Eastern North America. The largemouth bass is the most popular game fish that is fished for in the United States. Fairly popular in northern Mexico and southern Canada too. They can get up to 20 pounds and a couple feet long, but usually if you get a 5 or 6 pounder, you're catching a pretty nice fish. The bluegill is probably the most common. It's a group of fishes called sunfishes, and there's long-eared sunfish and orange-spotted sunfish, and just a whole bunch of different kinds. Red breast sunfish, but the bluegill doesn't have sunfish in its name, but it is a sunfish. It gets its name because the breeding males get bright blue on the underside of their heads where their gills are. And both of these species, the males make a nest by using their tail. They fan sand and make a depression. And then they guard that. They entice females in, fertilize the eggs. But here's what's cool. There will be some males, they never get big. They never get color. They're called sneaker males. And they pretend I'm just a female hanging out. And when that big male starts spawning with the female, they sneak in and get some of their sperm in there and run away.
Wow.
Yep.
I mean, we'll let the chat just kind of make inferences about their lived experience in there as well. Wow, what a technique there for these fish.
Definitely a lifestyle choice there.
Yeah.
It sounds a little risky, a good way to get beat up, but they go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I mean, that's something that you'll see in a lot of different animals, that kind of sneaker male lifestyle. Everything from invertebrates to, big ol' charismatic elephant seals that you see up on the beaches where they'll kind of sneak in there. And when, like you said, when the big, large males aren't paying attention, they'll mate with the females there. I see that we have another fish joining us here that Sarah has pulled up.
Oh, whoa,
yes.
Look at that.
It is a catfish. Meow.
So I would say, do you have any perfectly good puns related to catfish or animal facts in case we need them?
Well, these guys are scaleless. They don't have scales. Their skin's really smooth and soft.
Must be really hard to weigh them.
Scaleless.
Anyway,
Nice.
Okay, sorry.
Nice. No, that was a good one, Emily.
Yeah.
Those little it looks like I have a mustache on one side of my face. Those are actually whiskers on the catfish. The scientific name are called barbels, B-A-R-B-E-L-S.
Mm-hmm.
And they have taste buds on them. And catfish, they're nocturnal. They feed at night. And so they actually taste what's out in front of them as well as feel what's out in front of them with these barbels as they swim along the bottom of the river or pond or lake that they're in.
And I've always had this question, actually. Just I need some clarification for myself about scaleless fish, scaled fish, and just generally, what is it that determines whether or not a fish has scales or not on its skin? Like, are the scales lost? Are they modified into the skin? I guess I just need clarification on how you can have some scaleless fish and some scaled fish, and what that true difference is between the two.
So the oldest living bony fish we have are the reed fish or the pitchers, and they have scales. And so the primitive condition, the basic condition is fish have scales.
Okay.
And so the loss is a secondary feature that's popped up many, many times in different places in that evolutionary tree of fish life.
Okay. And so the skin on the back of the catfish here, those aren't modified scales into a tapestry. It's literally just you don't have scales on top of that skin.
Yes. And but what they do have to protect themselves is on that fin on their back and the two fins on the upper sides, their pectoral fins, they've got spines on the front of those. And
Whoa.
when these bigger catfish are small, and then there's a whole group of catfish called mad toms, Madtoms. They're crazy about cats, male cats in particular, I guess. But mad toms, um, they're miniature catfish. Most of them don't get any bigger than 3 or 4 inches, and they have poison cells in the skin covering those spines. And so
Whoa.
when one pokes your finger, it feels like a bee, sometimes like a wasp has
Oof.
stung you. It gets your
Whoa.
attention.
That's
Now,
incredible. And that reminds us of the rockfish that we have here locally in the Monterey Bay.
mhm.
They also have a venomous spine. They're related to stonefishes and other things. What I imagine that the venom and of fishes has also evolved separately numerous times. Is that correct? Just based off
Yes.
what you're saying? Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, and for those rockfish, they typically have a venom sac at the base of the spine, and it runs up a groove in the spine and gets delivered, and that's a lot more dangerous. These are just individual poison cells within the skin cells, and so it's not nearly as dangerous because it's a limited dose, but you still feel it.
Wow.
And just one of those days when your biorhythms aren't quite right and you just don't have everything going. You're doing a life history on the freckle-bellied mad tom. You got to collect them every once a month for every 12 months, and you're trying to get about 20 of them. And one month I got nailed by half of the 20 that we
Oh,
collected
wow.
because I just couldn't get it together that day, and man, that hurt.
Oh no. Well,
But
Dang.
it's still fun.
that does bring up a very important question here for you, Bernie. Have you ever gone noodling for catfish before?
Oh boy.
Oh boy. So, for those of you that don't know what noodling is, these larger catfish, they'll get in a hole in the bank or they'll get in a big hollowed out log and they'll just hang out there in the day, just waiting for nighttime to come. And people go around, they stick their arms in these holes in the bank or these logs, feel the catfish, poke around, it opens its mouth, they reach in, grab its innards, and pull it out while it bites down on their forearm.
Oh my goodness.
And they get like 60, 70-pound catfish they pull out doing that.
Wow. And I imagine that sometimes the catfish win, or
I haven't heard of a catfish drowning a human yet,
okay.
but who knows?
Okay.
But no, because there could be muskrats with teeth back there. There could be a
Oh,
beaver that's really upset, a water moccasin. So
oh
I
man.
don't do that.
Well,
That sounds like a smart plan there.
yeah. I mean, so one of my favorite things about scuba diving that I do is that I have a mask I can actually see, but I do have that phobia of like if I'm swimming and I can't see what's underwater and something grazes my leg or I touch something that I can't quite see, it makes me very, very uncomfortable. So just the idea that you would find a hole on a riverbank and just put an appendage in there just to see what bites down you can pull out is just that's I'm gonna stick to playing Animal Crossing. I think that's enough stimulation.
Yeah. Um,
Okay, I see. We have a question here about
Yeah.
giant catfish
mhm.
eating people, and I've every reservoir with there's always stories below the dam of the divers going down there to check for cracks. They think they're standing on the bottom, and oh my goodness, the bottom moves, and it's a catfish the size of a Volkswagen, and that diver dies of a heart attack. But somehow you know the story. I've never quite got that one down. But in North America, the largest catfish we have are flathead catfish and blue catfish, and they get 100, maybe 120 pounds. They're going to be 4.5, maybe 5 feet. They're not going to be a Volkswagen. They're going to be big. But in Asia, you do get some species that get like 20 feet long. They are huge catfish. And there is one species over there that does have some really sharp, almost teeth on it. Most catfish, they just have sort of a plate on their mouth and they just catch stuff that's rough and they swallow it whole. But this one catfish, it's kind of got teeth and it's taken some pretty big things. So it's possible in some parts of the world, but not in the United States.
Wow.
It's good to know.
So much to know about catfish there.
And some of those tiny little catfish, they're critically endangered. One of them is the Chucky Mad Tom, and it historically was known from just 2 streams, and it hasn't been seen in several years. And like so much of our freshwater habitats, its non-point source pollution is the problem. With the Clean Water Act, we pretty much fixed stuff you can point to and say, that pipe is causing the problem. That waste treatment plant is causing the problem. Now it's just accumulation of material coming off of parking lots and highways, poor timber and agricultural practices, construction sites without silt fences. And when you get that dirt into historically rocky streams, it covers up the spawning habitat, the food habitat, places for shelter, and these little bottom-dwelling fishes just disappear. And that's been the problem with the Chucky Mad Tom.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's one of those things we don't think about too much about what when it rains, what flows out from land out there into the ocean. We know it in our area in Monterey and along the coast of California that after the first rain of the season, it's like almost a little mini oil spill will happen all down the coast from all of the oil that might have been left on the road that gets flushed out, kind of all in that same on that one go there. So yeah, it's we our moniker for this stream, Dr. Bernie, I don't know if you know, but our little pun here for this stream is that all streams lead to the ocean. And it's true with everything that happens on land, where the water goes back out into the ocean and back around. It is all connected through that water there. I did just notice that Emily caught a tilapia. I don't know if we want to start talking about tilapia, but that's probably a fish that a lot of people on the stream might recognize from a grocery store or a restaurant.
Yeah, those are very popular fish. They are in the family with cichlids, which are really popular aquarium fishes that are found in several continents, Africa, South America. And the tilapia is from South Africa. And at least what's cool about Animal Crossing is they give the scientific name of the species. So that specific tilapia is the banded tilapia, found in South Africa, and it's one of those cichlids, one of those species in that family that actually care for its eggs and young. It doesn't put them in its mouth like some cichlids, but it does care for them. And this one species is not commercially important. It only gets to about 9 inches, but so many tilapia are a really important food source for protein around the world.
Can you describe that mouth brooding that you just brought up? I think that's something that a lot of people might be interested in. We have mouth brooders in the ocean with the cardinal fishes, but describe to us the mouth brooding. It might be a little story there for the chat.
So several of these cichlids, they will actually fertilize the eggs, and then the male, and sometimes the male and female, they will pick up the fertilized eggs and actually store them in their mouth, pass water over them to keep them aerated, and obviously that keeps any predators from eating the eggs and the embryos as they develop. And it's just a really good way to keep your offspring close to you and safe.
Amazing. Very cool. What do we have there? Oh my goodness.
It's a fish fest right now.
I love the sound of when you when like you just announce like
Ta-da!
ta-da, here's my fish. Who's that? Oh, and looks like we've got the trooper icon that just showed up here
Yeah,
as
I put
well.
it up
Yeah.
there just because it's quiet in the background, but it's happening. So
Trooper,
thought we
hey
would.
Trooper. Trooper Bernie is the stream pup that shows up
Yeah,
every
the
so often from
unofficial,
Very
official
nice.
social media dog.
Stream Pup. So who do we have here? Who's this?
That looks like a snakehead. I can tell because the fin on the back, the dorsal fin, and the fin underneath, the anal fin, they're really long. It's a very
Wow.
colorful, elongate fish. Um, this is an invasive species in North America that's been around now for 20, 25 years. And because it's got pretty serious looking teeth, it gets a lot of press about here comes the snakehead. You can make a monster movie out of it.
Oh wow.
I'm waiting for snakeheads on a plane. And
Well, I'm already sick of those on my planes personally.
well, okay.
Sick and tired of them even.
And so these are fish eaters, and they're typically found in more lowland habitats like ditches, swamps, marshes, habitats like
Wow.
that. And they are somewhat of a problem in the United States, but they really haven't become the huge invasive species problem that we thought they might turn out to be. But they're still not great. But in their native habitats in Asia, they're really fit in nicely in the ecosystem there, and they're gorgeous fishes.
Wow. That is something that is quite frequent to have these species that are brought over by human activity. I know in our area, striped bass are an example of a fish that was brought over that are now kind of integrated into the local marine ecosystem. They've been around for so long. Are there other examples of popular fish that people would really know about that are actually not meant to be around here in North America?
Well, some of them that we might see in Animal Crossing would be the carp, the common carp.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's native to Europe and Western Asia,
Mm-hmm.
and it was brought over in the early 1900s.
Wow.
And they're found just about across North America now. We we have a guppy that you can catch, which is a live bear. It actually bears live young.
Like this guppy?
Oh my gosh, you were so prepared there, Patrick.
Hey, look at me go.
That.
Pro gamer moves. Can we get some W's in the chat for that serendipity? I actually did something good, chat. I actually did something timely in the game. I didn't disrobe entirely. I didn't exit the game. I'm sorry, Bernie. This is a big moment for me that I didn't completely screw up my epic gamer moment.
I'm
sorry to interrupt.
Proud.
No. You just go for it. We will pause and you celebrate, man.
Let me go. Listen, I just look at my guppy. I'm so proud.
She's
Okay,
beautiful.
Sorry. Can you tell me a little bit more about the guppy of success?
So
guppy of good gaming.
guppies, almost every kid, this is probably next to a goldfish, the most common aquarium fish that people have. They're native to the Caribbean islands and the northern part of South America, and they are live bears. So the male actually has a modified fin on the back underside called the anal fin, which is called a gonopodium. And he uses that to internally fertilize the female. So her eggs gets fertilized, the embryos grow inside of her, the eggs hatch inside of her, and she gives birth to live young.
That's amazing.
Needless to say, that gives you a head start on all the other fishes around you. That the eggs have to be laid, and then they have to hatch, and then they have to be a little tiny larval fish. And so, but guppies, they're really popular in the aquarium trade. They're gorgeous fish. You can have several generations of individuals in a year because after 7 or 8 weeks, the young are ready to spawn. They're sexually mature. And here's an interesting note about guppies too, the female can store sperm from the male for up to 8 months before she fertilizes
Oh,
eggs.
whoa.
That's
Wow.
weird.
Yeah, that's something that a few different types of animals do that I know. I think some octopuses can have a few different male, as they're called, sperm love darts, the spermatangia. I think they can hold on to those and kind of, I think some can even choose which one reproduce certain ones of the eggs. Even there's some selective fertilization there as well. That's amazing.
Yeah. I know that
But
some
then
sharks do that too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
the downside to this family of fishes, Pisciliidae, is there's one particular fish called the mosquito fish. This one genus is called Gambusia. They've been introduced all over the world for mosquito control. Just like guppies, they live near the surface. Their mouth is sort of turned up, and they do feed a lot on mosquito larvae in waters, as well as a bunch of other aquatic insects and terrestrial insects that fall into the water. But because you can have 3 generations within a year, their populations can explode. And because they give birth to live young, those live young can start feeding on the eggs and larvae of native species if they're introduced somewhere. And they can really put an ecosystem out of whack. And they are causing the imperilment of one of our native top minnows here in Tennessee, the Barron's top minnow. It's down to one stream where there's natural reproducing population because these mosquito fish outcompete it for food resources. They eat the young, and after 3 or 4 years of moving in, they completely cause the extirpation of these Barron's top minnows. So they're a problem with other species of fishes across the world.
Wow. Gentrifying guppies to try to get the alliteration in there, right? The mosquito fish. Oh my goodness.
There you go.
That's
and
terrible.
So usually we look at fish barriers as bad because fish can't migrate, they can't move. But the couple of fish barriers left where Barron's top minnows are found above these, we're glad they're there because they keep the mosquito fish out.
Gotcha.
Nice.
We had a question about how similar betta fish are to guppies, if they are the same thing or not.
They're not. They're actually in a different family, and betta fish are native to the Mekong River drainage. So that'd be like Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, and because they're fighting, their Siamese fighting fish is another common name for them, and the males are extremely territorial, and so when you put 2 males together in a close confinement, they fight. And normally in nature, one would win, the other would leave. If you got them in a small aquarium, one's going to kill the other one, unfortunately.
Oh, wow.
So that's why you always find them alone. They're not very gregarious fishes.
Gotcha.
But what's really cool is the males build a bubble nest. So let's say you had this guy, this one fish, and you called him Bill. Bill builds a bubble nest. Say that real fast.
Yeah, well, so I just wanted to say I find it funny that you would have fishes building bubble nests, and then some of us are out there trying to get water beds to trend. There seems to be some napping jealousy between the different media of water animals and land animals. We're just trying to steal each other's sleeping setups. Did that even work? I mean, I guess an air mattress is the same thing as a bubble nest. So they're all camping. They're all backpacking.
Yep.
Emily,
Yes.
we got a ton of oh, look, a little pale chub.
Little pale chub.
What can you tell us about chubs?
And chubs can be a little chubby sometimes. We try not to judge. Here's what's really cool with chubs. So they're in the minnow family, And the males during the spawning season, a lot of them, including the pale chub, they get these big bumps or spikes on their head and their nose called breeding tubercles. Turblecs. I probably spelled that wrong. Anyway, tubercles.
Tubercles.
And they are keratinized structures. Keratin is like what your fingernails are made of. And they pop up during the spawning season. After that, they reabsorb them. And they use these breeding tubercles. They usually have territories. And if another male comes in, they ram into him with these horns, basically,
Whoa.
to chase him away.
Oh,
What?
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So rhino chubs is also something that
Yes,
that's going
and
on.
the common name for some of these chubs are called horny heads.
Oh no, that's such an unfortunate
That
combination. The horny head
They
chub.
just-
They didn't really they kind of got the short straw as far as common names go between pale chub and horny head there. I feel like maybe we can come up with a better common name for them.
Another really cool thing some chubs do is they'll spawn, lay their egg, then the male will go get a couple rocks, he'll carry them in his mouth, small rocks, pebbles, and cover up the eggs. They'll spawn again, they do it again. They spawn again, they do it again. Sometimes these nests have thousands of rocks in them. They're a couple feet across, a foot high, and then there's a whole nother group of minnows that spawn above that nest as it's being built, and they let their eggs drop into that nest and let the male chub do all the work of covering up their eggs
Wow.
as well as his own.
Whoa.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's like a bad group project. Right?
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's just amazing how all these aquatic critters work together
Mhm.
in this wonderful ecosystem that, by the way, gives us all clean water to drink, to swim in, and to catch black basses in to eat. So the more species we keep around, the healthier the ecosystem, and the better our aquatic resources are for drinking, playing in, and eating from.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Got to
Yeah.
get a plug in for biodiversity.
Oh,
Oh,
I feel like yeah, biodiversity. This stream and every stream brought to you by Biodiversity. Biodiversity, it's how you have friends. That's a quick this message from our sponsors, Biodiversity.
Sponsored by.
Emily, maybe we
Yes.
should relocate to another stream or a pond or like a higher alpine something. Maybe switch up some of this.
Yeah,
the
I mean, we
fish
can
species. What do you
always,
think?
we can come up here, right next to the museum. If you want to do a little fishing in this spot here, we can head over elsewhere. I don't know what you're feeling here.
Well, you could just admire the flowers for a little while. You do have a beautiful island, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, can we get some love for the island here in the chat? Monterey Bay Island, curated exclusively by Emily here. Really an amazing job, Emily. I also like Mola Mola Island over here on the side.
Thank you. Thank
Dr.
you.
Bernie, if you come over to this little cliff edge here and you look over, you'll see Mola Mola Island down there.
I can hop over there real quick to Mola Mola
Nice.
Island.
Nice hop.
Thank
I don't know
you.
if there we go. We did it.
Should
got
be
it.
You should be able
Can
to
I-
hop from there.
Yes. We're on Mola Mola Island, ocean sunfish, which maybe actually leads into a good thing. When you search sunfish, you often find links to ocean sunfish like Mola Mola, but then there's also another type of freshwater fish called a sunfish. Is that correct?
Correct.
Mhm.
Yes. The ocean sunfish is just this huge fish that floats in the ocean on its side its entire life. Very strange. But the freshwater sunfish, there are probably about 20 some species, and many of them have just absolutely gorgeous colors, like the very common long-ear sunfish that you don't find in ponds, but you find in streams and creeks.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
What is your favorite fish today? If you had to pick a
Oh,
favorite
God.
fish of the day, or a top 3 of the day.
Our
You're
top three of the day
not committed to
that we've caught so far.
this, or just in your
Or
life
just in
that we're looking
general.
for.
Yeah.
Well, so yesterday I was up on the Cumberland Plateau, a little shy of 2,000 feet elevation, which is tall for the Cumberland Plateau, and we were looking for the endangered laurel dace. We found several of them, but it was 75 degrees, blue sky. I was in a hemlock hardwood forest in a mountain stream, and they call it work.
Oh wow! And Dace, that's actually who your little avatar is on the top of this stream here. You're a dace up there. Can you describe to us what a dace is for the folks in Animal Crossing that may have found one?
Yes, so a dace is another kind of a minnow, and all dace, they have really tiny little scales. That's what makes a dace a dace. They're not, here, I'll get real nerdy on you. They're not a monophyletic group. They're not all each other's closest relatives, but that is a common name for a minnow with tiny little scales. And most of them have bright colors. The laurel dace has a gold stripe down the side, bordered by black on the top and bottom. It's got bright red lips, like it just put on some Let's Go Party lipstick, and some nice red on the belly also.
Wow, awesome! There you go. That's a dace. And
That is a dace.
And so if you've got a bass, and you're not a fan of pronunciation, you could say that was the dace of bass if you had both of those together. The dace of bass. I tried, everybody. It's been a minute for some puns. Let's get some pun emotes in the chat. I'm doing my work over here. I'm trying.
Looking for the dace is the place I want to be.
Oh, the place. Nice. That joke had a lot of soul. That was good. Oh, there we go. We got my pun emotes. I'm feeling a little bit better.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Well, cool. So can you tell us maybe a little bit about some of the general work that the Tennessee Aquarium does in its community related to the local freshwater fish species? Like what kind of, I've never actually been to the Tennessee Aquarium, so I'd love to go and visit. What kind of ecosystems are you showing off over there?
Yeah, so we've unfortunately, like everyone else, been closed for 3 months, but we're actually opening up to the public tomorrow for the first time.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know, we're really excited. We're doing it at 20% capacity, so everyone can physically distance. And, you know, we're cleaning the heck out of it, so we're making it safe for the folks that come through. We have an entire building river journey that just celebrates freshwater fishes throughout the world.
Wow.
But we concentrate on the fishes here in the magnificent southeastern United States. You want a fun fish fact?
Yes.
All right, so there are 3 river systems in the southeast. The Mobile Basin, mostly in Alabama and a couple neighboring states. The Tennessee River System, Tennessee and Kentucky, a couple other states. And the Cumberland River System to the north, Tennessee, Kentucky, a little bit of other states. And in these 3 river systems, they're only 1.4% of the area of the U.S. and Canada. You get over 400 species of freshwater fishes, which is almost half the diversity in the United States and Canada.
Wow.
So 3 river
That's
systems.
amazing.
Wow. I never heard about that before.
And the Tennessee Aquarium and Chattanooga is dead center in those 3 river drainages.
Wow.
Another reason I have the best job in the world.
And
so in that river journey, you go up an escalator and it takes you up into this cove forest up in the Appalachian Mountains. There are, I guess I'll give the mammals and birds a little love. There are these things called otters.
You don't have to. You don't have to. If it hurts to do so, you don't have to. That's fine.
It does hurt to talk about mammals, but I will.
Okay.
So these little otter things swimming around, people call them cute, whatever. But then you've got this plunge pool, and it's full of native Southern Appalachian brook trout and some other introduced trout that people fish for. And you get these native minnows and darters. And then you go into our canyon, you weave your way down. Then we have a bunch of galleries celebrating the Tennessee River, celebrating rivers of the world, celebrating the Tennessee River itself right outside with this big, huge exhibit that has paddlefish and sturgeon and gar and all sorts of cool critters in it. And then we have a second building, Ocean Journey, that you once again take an escalator to the top. There's lemurs running around overhead. There's Stingray Bay where you can pet stingrays and guitar fish and all sorts of cool things. And you can see some of those flightless birds, those penguin things. Yeah, I think they're in there too. and we got some cool boneless beauties, some jellyfish. Oh, we got really cool flashlight fish too. And we've got a brand new exhibit celebrating turtles. And we have a little turtle nursery there. And you can see little itty bitty turtles. I'll admit that's pretty cute for not being a fish. And I would be very upset with myself if I didn't mention back in River Journey, we have a tank that you can pet lake sturgeon.
Gotcha.
Wow.
And so my real big question is, have you hugged your fish today? And why can't a fish be your neighbor on your island? That's my complaint.
You know what?
Very true. Although I will advocate for this because we are all tetrapods and we share that Sarcopterygian background here. I would vote for the fact that in fact all of our neighbors are fish. In reality, we are all fish.
Right.
Well played from an evolutionary point of view.
I got to bring that. I got that degree. Right. You got to use it for something there.
No, you're. Since we're all fish, the love for your neighbor should fill you to the gills with civic responsibility. At least to all of your gill arches in embryology. Those 7, they're beautiful. That was a good shoehorn in there. Right now we're dancing around a beautiful fish. And Emily, I don't know what fish is it.
Well, this is a piranha that you have seemed to caught there, Bernie. But I will just also throw in there since we're talking about hugging a fish, and GD Adnan in the chat mentioned hugging their Mola Mola plush that we do have merch. Shop monterey.org. Okay, anyway, piranhas. Oh my goodness.
No. Lean into it, Emily. Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. This is Monterey Bay Aquarium featuring Tennessee Aquarium. But just so you know, there is merch. Check out the merch. We got links in the chat. Check out. We'll link it in the description below. It feels good to be able to say these streamer incantations, Emily. It's just nice to lean into it.
In our gift shop, we have a plush little sturgeon that you can hug too.
Oh, I want a plush sturgeon. Oh.
If there's one that's in charge of the rest, would that be the Sturgeon General?
It would be, yes.
Okay.
And we have a local brewery that has the Sturgeon General beer.
Really?
Ooh.
Yes.
Wow.
And if folks were watching the shark cam right before this, they might have spotted a white sturgeon on that shark cam there.
That's right.
One of our fish inside the aquarium. But
that's right. And if one of the largest fishes in North America, gets over 20 feet long.
Amazing.
If you're a famous pop singer that enjoys fish with scutes on the side and you give it a thumbs up on social media, that could mean you like a sturgeon. Right? Is that? That was a stretch.
That was.
I tried not to have any official names up there. Super stretch, about as long. Stretched about as far as you need to for a sturgeon pun. I think. Yeah, there you go. We got Celestina spelling "sigh" with spaces between each letter. That's how I know I've done my job over here. Like a sturgeon. Was the joke there? I'm sorry, Bernie. You're being submitted to quite a few fish puns here.
That is okay. I did also want to mention that I work at the Conservation Institute at the Tennessee Aquarium. So we have a whole branch of the Tennessee Aquarium that is a science-based conservation program trying to improve all of our freshwater aquatic habitats throughout the Southeast.
Awesome.
United States, North America, and the world.
The whole
Woo.
world. Nice. Can you tell us about the piranha? Sorry, Emily. Right, that's a piranha you were saying.
Yeah. Beautiful
That
little
that is a
piranha.
red-bellied piranha because it has
A red
a red
belly.
belly.
Oh, dang! I
Oh
was gonna say
man.
that. I was gonna guess
This
that.
it's like the red-winged blackbird. It's a blackbird with red wings. It makes so much sense. We got a red-bellied piranha here. Oh, I love it. I love it when common names make sense.
And we've all seen the horrible horror movies of the piranhas coming and, the innocent high schoolers swimming in the lake and they're being devoured, the cow falling in and it's a skeleton in 2 minutes, la 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 la. But in their natural habitats in South America, they're primarily just foragers on other fishes and aquatic invertebrates. They scavenge on stuff, and they typically don't attack big things. If they're starving, like they've been trapped in the pool during the dry season, and they've had nothing to eat, they might go a little nuts. If you're provoking them, I'm just like, hey, you need braces, your teeth are crooked. They might attack, but other than that, believe it or not, Hollywood dramatizes piranha.
Hollywood dramatizing something? That
Right,
seems
wait.
like that seems a little fishy there.
Yeah.
It is a little fishy, and I'm sorry I'm trying to, go there, but I think I'll.
Oh, we need the piping hot takes that are as fiery red as the belly of this piranha. This is what this stream is for. I just can't believe that anyone would talk such mean talk to a piranha. They're so adorable. Wow.
Its little underbite
They are
is
adorable.
so cute.
They do have they do need some braces, but other than that, they're adorable.
Well, something that people have been maybe asking us to brace for is an exploration of the freshwater component of the museum that we have there behind you with you, where it'll basically be a Monterey Bay Aquarium / Tennessee Aquarium simulator, as we like to say. Emily, how do we feel about that?
I love it. Now, I will say that because we have focused so much on saltwater fishing in the ocean here on our island, our freshwater exhibits might leave something to be desired, but we will explore and
that
see.
back. Take that back right now.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot. Yeah, Bernie, you're here to give us some suggestions for how to round out our freshwater fish experience inside the museum.
All right.
Yeah, we've just been focusing on the collections of the freshwater fishes. So,
well, if you ever do come to the Tennessee Aquarium, there's no better place to see freshwater fishes displayed in a most excellent.
Whoa! And the first thing Emily does is show off.
I have been working on making
Arapai-more.
sure that we had stuff ready to go. So I did just want to bring our little arapai-more out.
And Bernie, have you gotten to explore the museum portion of Animal Crossing before?
I have. Sarah did take me on a little virtual tour.
All right.
Where would you like to start?
Oh, so many places. How about let's talk about that angelfish. Oh, we passed him up. Okay.
Nope, we can go back. Yeah.
All right. So angelfish. If it was a game where it'd be playing Halo, that's the only thing I know about angelfish.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's my one pun.
Very nice. Well,
thank you.
So most of us are familiar with angelfish in the ocean, and this is an angelfish that's not anywhere closely related to those angelfish. It's actually a type of specialized cichlid.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Whoa.
Wow.
It's found in the Amazon River Basin in North and Central South America, and it's got that silver with those black stripes, and it's just a really different looking kind of cichlid that has evolved into this weird looking thing that looks almost identical to an angelfish, which is an entirely different family and order of fish.
Mm-hmm.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of convergent evolution that goes on everywhere in the world with all different kinds of life. And you get a lot of cichlids that look like other groups of fishes, even though they're not anywhere near closely related to them. You have some cichlids that kind of look like a snakehead, sorta. Some cichlids that kind of look like our pickerels and muskie, and this cichlid that looks like an angelfish.
Wow. So it's just imitation, sincerest form of flattery for the cichlids, just kind of trying to figure out who they want to mimic out there. Does that have something to do with them trying to mimic each other for protection from predators or camouflage or anything like that, or is it just kind of they're converging on the same type of coloration because they're in the same type of habitat or eating the same thing?
So anytime you have saddles across the back, these markings across the back, or these either horizontal or vertical stripes, that's just to break up the body pattern and make the animal not as obvious. And a body shape like that would be built for quieter water, not for fast water.
Okay.
And it's just an adorable little critter.
Yeah, look at it there on the Critterpedia. Gorgeous. Are you active on iNaturalist and other websites with the Tennessee Aquarium and finding those animals out there as well? Just as a quick question.
I don't do a lot of iNaturalist. We actually have our own webpage called the Freshwater Information Network.
Okay.
Where we have a page for each of the 404 species of fishes in those three drainages, the Mobile Basin, Tennessee, and Cumberland. And so we have photo vouchers that we take of all the fishes out in the field and then we let them go and kiss them and say goodbye. And then we put the photo vouchers up on the webpage. We're just beginning to do that. We've got a lot of dots based on museum specimens now. So yeah, I do a little iNaturalist, but I got fish to catch.
Priorities. Yeah, as someone is saying in the chat that our fish museum is full of everything, but the insect dinosaur wing is just dust, crickets, and tumbleweeds. Hashtag priorities. Yeah, definitely.
I will say though that as the person with the evolution degree in here, I did fill up our fossil collection.
Okay, perfect.
That is complete. But yeah, the bug side of everything could use some work as well. But we know it's important here, so
nice. I don't know who this little red-headed fish here swimming by me is. That a koi?
No.
I don't know what type of fish that is. I have no idea. The one that's next to me on the right side there.
Looks like it might be one of those weird goldfish that have been hybrid or have been selectively bred in Japan for years and years and years.
There it is. Oh my goodness gracious! Look at that thing.
Yeah, I think that's called the Ranku goldfish, and it was popularized and specifically bred in Japan to look like the. It kind of looks like a marine lumpsucker or something.
It kind of
does.
Maybe
it also looks like.
Hutt.
It also looks like it's been holding its breath for a very long time.
Yes. It is a cartoon character without having to be cartoonishized.
Wow. Yeah, it feels like a Miyazaki-looking creature.
It
definitely.
Really does.
Incredible.
It would fit right in a Studio Ghibli film.
Definitely.
And, your typical goldfish that you buy at the pet store, if they go wild, they lose that bright gold color and they just sort of become brown to blend in with the background after several generations. And then, they've just been selectively bred to look like a lot of different weird things, like this Ranku goldfish here.
Wow. And so right now we have Sarah. She has you sitting there very peacefully hanging out with some freshwater fish. Would this be your vision of a personal heaven,
Yes,
as it were?
just looking at an aquarium, your blood pressure lowers.
It really does. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right, Emily, is there another fish in here that we feel like we should be pointing out? We've got a few goldfish apparently we've got here. Oh, look,
Yeah,
we
a
got
couple
the
of different.
photo capture there.
Yeah,
Nicely done.
I
for
captured
the
it
cover.
right when the beta swam in front of my face too. So pro gamer moves. Woo.
Gotta do it again, maybe. We need a screenshot for the VOD, everybody.
It's true. It's true. Here, let's see here. I can just be hiding behind the fake algae. Mysterious.
Nicely done.
It's adding to that the edge of our streams.
Oh, there's a question there for Bernie. The double tail fin on the Ranchu goldfish. What's going on there? How does that work?
Question.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Well, just selective breeding can do weird things. I mean, our dogs are one subspecies, and you go from a Chihuahua to a Great Dane and everything in between. So
that's right.
Yes, you can make a goldfish have two caudal fins.
Yes.
Wow. It's almost looking coelacanth-y in how it wants to swim around.
Something tells me it doesn't swim twice as fast with two tails.
No, no, it might be half as good. Oh, poor Ranchu goldfish. We love you, I think. So we've got a few other areas over here. And when you're recreating your naturalistic exhibitions over at the Tennessee Aquarium, what are some of the considerations that visitors might not notice about what it is you have to do to make a freshwater exhibit work for the fish? Obviously, you're in an aquarium setting, so you're no longer in the same circumstance as the wild. So what are some things, some tips and tricks folks may not be aware of that you see at the aquarium?
Well, our horticultural people work really well in having live plants, and we've got in several of the exhibits, like our what's the name of our swamp exhibit? Help me out here, Sarah. Delta Swamp exhibit. We've got bushes there. We've got birds flying around. So, just everything you can do to try to bring that feeling of nature inside. And then, a lot of people just think all freshwater fishes are either bass that you catch and eat, or they're brown and you put them on the end of a hook and fish with them. And so many freshwater fishes have such gorgeous colors, and they really rock. And then there's things like, I see the spotted gar swimming around down there right in front of us. I mean, those are just amazing ancient fishes. They come to the surface and gulp air. They've got a connection between their gut and their swim bladder, so they can use their swim bladder sort of as a lung if the oxygen levels get really low in the water.
Oh, whoa.
They got those sharp teeth and that long mouth, and they sit like a log on top of the water when they're hunting. And they wait for another little fish to swim by, and then they, with the sideways motion, they grab it, turn it around head first, and swallow it. Their scales are called ganoid scales, and they're covered with an enamel type substance. And so they just feel really cool when you catch a gar. They're one of my favorite freshwater fishes. And we have in North America here the alligator gar. It's the largest freshwater fish in the Southeast. They get 10 feet long.
Whoa. I'm trying to come up with a gar pun.
Well, don't make it garish.
Well, I just garbled it, is what I think just happened.
Well, I once did have a pet alligator gar, and his middle name was Garfield.
Oh, there you go. It was a scholar outstanding, and it's Garfield. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, gars. I know that we have a friend, Dr. Solomon David, who has visited the aquarium and tweets a lot, who is a a guaranteed person to share gar content out there.
Well, gar can also get into salt water, and sometimes a sea gar is just a sea gar.
Yes. Wow, that's a good one. Oh, cool. And so are gars found anywhere else in the world outside of North America, or are they?
There's fossils in Asia, but they're just North American now.
Oh, that's awesome. Shout out
Yeah.
in the chat, everybody, to our local hero here, the gar.
The gar.
That's awesome.
So neat.
And and then the other fish that gulp air, like the arapai-more, it has to gulp air. It's got gills, but they're not very efficient, and so it has that similar connection between its gut and its swim bladder that's highly vascularized. And you can actually drown a arapai-more if it's not allowed to get to the surface every 15 minutes or so and gulp oxygen. Who knew you could drown a fish?
Oh wow!
Whoa, I had no idea.
Now I keep on pulling ours out, but we really do have one in here in this exhibit, which is
and we have an exhibit, River Giants, and it celebrates all the large freshwater fishes of the world, and they're all in one tank. And we've got some arapai-mores that are probably a good 6-7 feet long in there.
Bernie had his character Sarah had an arapai-more just in your sleeve, ready to show off like that.
we were prepared for this moment.
I'm gonna go sit down on the bench over here. I don't have an arapai-more. You guys have fun with your arapai-more club. No, that's fine. No, enjoy your
little bubble. Did you see the bubbles escaping from the arapai? Sorry,
no, I didn't see it because I was over sitting on the bench, sad that I'm not part of the cool kids club. No, I'll come over here.
We still love you, Patrick.
Well, I don't know if I love myself anymore. I need to find an arapai-more to hang out. Well, look at that beautiful
arapai-more can get up to 15 feet long and over 400 pounds. And typically when you get such a big fish, they're long-lived, like a lake sturgeon. There's one that was recorded as 150 years old. But what's really weird about arapai-more, they're really fast-growing, but in the wild, they only live about 9-10 years. That's it, which is pretty short lifespan for such a big fish.
I was told I appreciate what you're saying, Bernie, but I was told in the chat to remember the guppy, and I'm showing off my guppy in front of the arapai-more. As cool as it is, look at that's right.
Yeah, well,
pro gamer.
We are celebrating your guppy.
Thanks. If I can make this stream all about myself.
We actually have an exhibit that celebrates small fishes.
Okay.
Yes. Small fishes are important. They matter. They make up most of the biodiversity.
That's right.
They are awesome.
That's right. Guppies forever. GG Guppy. Okay. All right. Oh, great stuff. I also
you strike
just want
a good pose there, Patrick.
Oh, thank you. That's that guppy posing that it's not learned. It's just something you just know how to do. I just want to give a huge shout out to if there's anyone out there who knows the designers of these fish models. I mean, they're absolutely stunning, especially the arapai-more and all of these fish there. So shout out to game designers out there as well.
Yeah.
They did a really good job.
Just look at those sun rays across the arapai-more's back right now.
Oh, and then is that an arowana in there too?
It is, yes.
Yeah, and what's cool about this, the specific species is the super red arowana that's swimming around in there. And this was a species just described in 2003. What a lot of people don't realize is we're still describing huge numbers of freshwater fishes. A lot of them are from the tropical region, the Amazon, North Central Africa. But we describe several species of freshwater fishes, new ones, right here in the United States and North America, 4 or 5 a year. So we're still discovering
Wow.
biodiversity even today.
Amazing. Is that largely based off of genetics or new zones for people to look at, or what is driving those new discoveries?
Yeah, very seldom do you find something and no one else has ever seen it. It's a more wide ranging species, which turns out it was really a species complex. And you look at it genetically, or even sometimes you just catch one and you look at it and it's a breeding male and you're like, huh, this guy doesn't have a red spot in the first part of the dorsal fin like the guys down in the valley, but up here on the Cumberland Plateau, this one looks a little different. And then you do the genetics and you're like, you're right, it is different. And that recently got described as the, I'm blanking here, the blue face darter.
Gotcha.
And so in caves, though, you can still find things that people have never seen before. I was lucky enough to be on a caving expedition in northwestern Alabama, and we discovered a new species of cave shrimp.
Whoa.
Less than an inch long, see-through, just a little bit of fat in the center. The antennae are about 3 times as long as the body, totally blind and white. You just really see a shadow move instead of the actual shrimp. But
Wow.
so yeah, that's the last frontier here in North America is the caves, stuff underground.
Very cool. That's awesome. So are you spelunking when you're doing that, or are you diving? How's your cave exploration?
So I like to say I am not a spelunker. I'm a biologist who studies animals in caves.
Okay.
But I go with spelunkers. I go with people every weekend. Instead of mowing the grass or playing golf or watching football, they crawl in a hole underground. Those are the people I go with because they can get this clumsy, nerdy biologist in the cave and out of the cave in one piece.
Wow. That's
But
amazing.
I'm just fascinated by the cave fishes, the cave crayfishes, the cave shrimp, the cave salamanders. I don't go in a cave if there's no water because it's not worth my time. But if there's water, I'm going in there and exploring. And I consider cave diving a death wish. I cave snorkel. I always have air above me, but I
Okay.
put on the wetsuit, I put on the hood, I put on the caving helmet. I look like a total nerd, and I go in there with a little aquarium dip net and snorkel around. And it took me a year to figure out how to catch cavefish. If you come at them from the top or side, they feel that net coming, even though they're blind, and they skedaddle underneath the ledge and they're gone. Finally, I figured out, well, what if I come at them from underneath? Then they
Uh-huh.
swim away towards the top, and you just follow them to the surface and you
Oh,
catch
wow.
them. But I was outfoxed by a blind fish for a year.
Until finally it caved to
It
your
came. I had an
there. Wow.
epiphany, yes.
Wow. That's incredible. Yeah, there's a few different techniques out there for collecting fish. One fun technique you reminded me of is with senorita wrasses that we have at the aquarium and that we have very prominently in our kelp forest exhibit. Um, one way to collect senorita wrasses is if you catch one and you have it in a clear bag, other senoritas will come over to check up on that one that's in the bag and like, hey, are you okay? What's this force field? And then you can surround the entire school because they're checking in on their buddy. So if you try to catch one individually, it'll take a very long time. But if you just catch one and then just kind of leave it out there in the open, the rest will come over and try to come and assist. So interesting.
Very nice.
Cool. Oh yeah, the chat is wondering how that works. Yeah, well that's we do need to collect some of these fish for the science there. Yeah. Just like if someone was trying to collect us for science, all you'd have to do is have a burrito outside of the dive spot, and I'll definitely go and end up collected for sure.
Yeah, my friends would probably say they'd bait me with a salad, which is kind of sad.
Oh no.
or a cave shrimp.
Yep.
That would get my attention.
Yeah.
Really, just about anything aquatic would get my attention. Except those mammals and birds, whatever.
Bernie, there is another fish in here that we haven't talked about, and I saw folks were curious about it before. Do you have any
Let's
fun
talk
facts about the Dorado?
The Dorado, that is an apex predator. That is one bad fish. It is found in large rivers in Central and East Central South America. It's got a lot of teeth. And they can get about over 3 feet and 70 pounds. They migrate pretty far to spawn. I saw up to 250 miles, which is pretty far. But they're a piscivore. They eat other fishes. Another name for them is a river tiger.
Ooh.
They don't have stripes, but they got teeth and they're a killer. I guess that's why they're called a river tiger. But they're awesome. In the same family as broadly as the piranha, Paracidae.
Oh, really? Well, and you can see the piranha behind you trying to say hello to its friend there through the window doing some, hey, buddy, and hey.
Neon tetras are in that same family, too, so which is pretty weird.
Wow.
Oh, speaking of.
Oh, fine. Cool. I'll just go hang out over here. Y'all can hang out with your cool fish you caught. No, I'm kidding. I'm just being dramatic at this point.
Are you going to go pout in a corner? Don't do that.
Well, I mean, there's not enough salt water on this stream, so I got to go make my own, I guess, in the corner. No, cool, amazing stuff there. Yeah, just so many fish species. I think I don't know if we talked about this. How many fish species are there total in the world that we know of at the moment? Obviously, you were mentioning we're finding more all the time, but fish, pretty successful type of organism on the planet, right?
They make up half of all the vertebrates.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I think the count right now is close to 30,000 species.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And yeah, I mean, the beetles got us beat terribly. Yeah. Insects are incredibly diverse, but for vertebrates, fishes rock.
Yes.
And what's so cool about freshwater fishes, they're in less than 1% of all the water on the earth, but they make up almost half of those species.
That's right. Freshwater fish working overtime to create that, to try to bridge that species gap to the beetles. The saltwater fish not so interested in trying to pull their volume weight in terms of how much living space they have to get those species going. But shout out to freshwater fish doing their part to try to take the beetles down a peg.
Yeah, and that's primarily due to just the huge variety of freshwater habitats there are. From the coastal marshes to the isolated headwater streams and lakes up in high altitude mountains, big rivers, small rivers, creeks, springs, caves, marshes, swamps. You just got all these different habitats, and these different watersheds, they become isolated. You might have the headwaters up in highlands, and the highland fishes sort of get stuck there because the bottom part of the rivers go on the low coastal plains, and that's not their habitat. So they get isolated in these river basins, not mixing with each other for hundreds of thousands, millions of years.
Wow.
And that's the little recipe for evolution and highly endemic species.
Speaking of endemic species, I just want nobody asked, but I'm just going to throw it out there that my favorite local endemic species are the pupfish that you find over in Death Valley area and in the Sierra Nevada. Really love those pupfish that live in extreme water, extremely hot, extremely cold during the year, high salinity. I would love those pupfish, devil's hole pupfish, and those ones out there. So shout out to our local regional endemics.
Yep, and
Puck.
we've got some really narrow ones here in the southeast too. The Alabama cave fish is found in a single cave.
Wow.
The pygmy sculpin is found in one spring. The vermilion darter is this gorgeous snub-nosed darter. It's found in about 7 miles of one creek just north of Birmingham, Alabama. So yeah, we've got some real local endemics here too.
That's awesome. Emily, what's
And I
your
get
favorite
to study
endemic?
them all. It's wonderful.
Well, you stole mine. You stole the desert pupfish.
Oh, I stole it? I didn't realize.
That's
Oh,
okay.
no, I'm sorry.
That's okay. We're allowed to share the desert pupfish.
No, I'm going to run over and pout again. I'm sorry, Emily.
No, come back. No, no, and that's just coming from living in Arizona, which is one of the very few places that you can still find desert pupfish, and so they are some of my favorite and ones that I got to learn a lot about when I took ichthyology in college, since it happened to be in Arizona. So yeah, I love those little buddies there.
Yeah, and earlier during the Pleistocene, when it was a lot wetter out west, there were huge lakes that would connect all these things, and then as things dried up, all these springs and other water bodies got isolated, and then you've got those really local, narrow endemics out there that are a result of those fluctuations in the amount of water out west over the last several million years.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Well, I see that we have ran over towards our little river system here with a couple of fish that we have not yet talked about. We've got both a cherry salmon and a char that are hanging out in here. Any fun facts about these fish?
Well, the cherry salmon, which is that an awesome common name or what? They're endemic just to Taiwan, so they're a pretty narrow endemic for a species that most of the population spend their adult life out in the ocean, and then they come back to fresh water to spawn. There are a few populations that are landlocked, but they get about 2 feet big. And what's really cool about all of these ocean going salmonids in the northern hemisphere is they smell their way back to their natal stream, the stream where they were born, which is just pretty awesome. And the char, that's a more northern species. This specific one that we've got here is the white spotted char, which is endemic to East Asia. It also has landlocked populations and anadromous populations. The young hatch out of the eggs. They spend maybe a year or two in fresh water. Then they hang out in the estuaries for a while. Then they spend a couple of years as an adult feeding out in the ocean, getting 2.5, 3 feet big. Then they come back, spawn, and most of the species die after they spawn. It's a one-time deal.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what's known as semelparity, right? Semelparous breeders.
Yes, very good.
I nailed it. That's what octopuses do as well. So
nice.
Works out.
And what's really cool is there are micro migrations that a lot of people don't know about. Do you want to hear about some micro migrations in the southeast?
Absolutely.
Yes,
okay, so there are several species of darters that live in fairly large creeks or small rivers 9 months out of the year. And then in January, when it starts getting really wet, in cow pastures, in forests, in pine plantations, you get groundwater seeps that start popping up and running groundwater that forms this little stream that goes to these rivers. They smell their way back to these little groundwater ephemeral streams. They swim out of the stream, usually up a pretty steep embankment. They work their way up into this, what is dry 9 months of the year, and they spawn on the terrestrial vegetation and then head back to the stream. And they spawn under ice. I've broken ice looking for these things in a cow pasture in February.
Wow.
and a couple of them are federally threatened because the habitat is dry most of the year. It's a cow pasture or a forest, or and it's just easy to get plowed over or logged over or paved over. And so because their spawning habitat is pretty precarious, we have to keep an eye out on them. But they're gorgeous little fish. Most of them have blue on the sides and bright orange on their bellies. There's one, though, called the rush darter. It's just brown, but I still love it. So not all migrations are long. Some are really short, but really cool.
That is really cool.
Oh, sorry, I'm just emerging from beneath my desk where everything got unplugged on my end somehow.
Oh no!
Oh no!
I got so excited. I was kicking my legs around and I almost disconnected myself from the whole world. But I was listening to that story about the migrations the entire time and thinking about how this might be my one stream and done personally. So
I see someone said blue and orange is a lovely color. So here in the Southeast, we're a little crazy about college football. And I guess those would be either Florida Gator colors or Auburn War Eagle colors, maybe. Okay. And see, I'm a University of Alabama Roll Tide fan, so I really probably shouldn't like these darters as much as I do. That would be crimson, crimson and white, those colors. Everything in the Southeast comes back to college football. If you live here for a while, I'm a damn Yankee. I came down from Illinois and I stayed.
Okay.
And I learned quickly that every conversation out in the field with the public starts with college football.
And so maybe then keeping that going in the stream of life here, who's the linebacker, who's the quarterback of the stream in your area? Who's calling the shots?
Yeah,
if any of that makes any sense.
It does. It really does.
Thank you.
I would say the wide receivers are the darters because they just got some fast moves and they can cut quickly.
Okay.
So their name Darter says it all. And then probably the linemen would be the suckers and chubs. Because they got a little weight to them. They're sort of bottom kind of fish. They can sort of dig in and hold their own. The linebackers would have to be some pretty fast, twitchy muscle kind of guys. So that would probably be like your bass, maybe your muskie and pickerel, and then your quarterback. That's a tough one. What's the high processing fish in our area? What's the smart fish? Yeah, they're all fish. They're pretty dumb.
Well, the whoever's calling the shots are the one talking to the sidelines, I suppose. Or maybe who's the most likely to throw a Hail Mary in its life?
I'll tell you, some who need a Hail Mary are the Laurel, Dace, and Barron's top minnow because they're on the verge of extinction.
There you go, everybody. If you are a fan of college football and you are looking to help out some of the key playmakers in that local stream, you just heard it there. Bernie, tell us again, who are we trying to give the Hail Mary to? Who do we have to look out for?
We're the Laurel Dace, Chrysoma sailori. When I started work here, it was found in 5 streams. It's now down to 2. And the Barron's top minnow, Fungulus gillicea, it's down to 1 stream where it's naturally reproducing. So yeah, those are the Hail Mary species in our backyard.
So there you go, everybody there in the chat. You are clearly fans of streams on the internet, and if we want to extend that love to the streams in our world, and if we want to have more ham-fisted pigskin related puns and jokes about who's playing what role out there, we need all of the players on the field in the stream out there. Mm-hmm. Is there a link to somewhere where folks can go to learn more about those species and maybe get involved and help them out?
Yeah, so both the Tennessee Aquarium and the Tennessee Aquarium Conservation Institute have web pages, and especially on the Tennessee Aquarium Conservation Institute's webpage, we've got a whole bunch of posts about Barron's top minnows and laurel dace. And I think on the Tennessee Aquarium proper, there's also sections on those two species. We have Barron's top minnow exhibit in our tiny but mighty important exhibit celebrating small fishes. And then we soon are going to have some laurel dace on exhibit also. That we are the product of a successful breeding program that we started looking into.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
well, Bernie,
and you know, minnows, they're a tough group to identify. A lot of ichthyologists, they don't have problems with most groups of fishes, but minnows are the tough one. And I use expressions on their face to identify them, and people don't get it. I don't understand. But some really look scared, some look concerned, some are very serious, and then some are just really frightened. So it really works.
So for the people that are trying to figure out how to identify those fish, thanks for letting me know how to tell them apart with their facial expressions there, right?
Yeah, it really works.
All right, got the pun in there. Perfect. I don't mean to transition us too far away, but Emily, I believe you have a suggestion for where we should head next.
Yes. So we always try and make a little trip to what we have dubbed the Bench of Forbidden Knowledge, aka the Bafka, for any interesting, maybe slightly upsetting fish stories that you might have to share with us, Bernie, before we end the stream this afternoon. So we can head over there now. I don't know if you have anything at the ready. I know, like on in our previous streams with friends and guests, we have had discussions of botflies and 12-foot long tapeworms, and I mean, you name it. So if you have anything that you would like to, any knowledge on the bench of forbidden knowledge that you would like to share, we will head over there right now.
And in particular, to help you choose anything gut-wrenching, the type of thing that gets you uninvited from parties, that is the kind of information that the BAFCA is perfectly suited to sharing. Again, we've talked about parasites a lot, botflies. We talked about salmon with tapeworms and biologists eating raw salmon and developing their own grizzly bear tapeworm from eating that. So if you have any gross out fish stories about your work or anything else, this is a safe space of the Bench of Forbidden Knowledge to share those stories with no judgment but complete revulsion.
So it's just us three, right?
Just us three.
Yep,
Nobody else is
three.
watching in the world.
Yep.
It's just us.
Just
Sarah,
the three
Sarah's
of us.
not even listening now,
Nope.
I'm sure.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good. So luckily, freshwater fishes here in the Southeast, there's not a lot of disgusting things they do directly to humans. But if you are in the Amazon River and you're swimming around and you decide, I'm not in a swimming pool, I don't want to go find a tree, I'm just going to take a whiz right here.
Uh-oh. I think I know where you're headed.
Yep.
Yes, you do.
Yep.
There is a little catfish that has some spines on the side of its gill covers that smells for, wastes from fish's gills, urea. And they swim up in the gills of fishes, and they lock those spines in, and they nibble away on the gills of fishes. That's how they feed. Well, urea can also come from that person swimming in the Amazon River and taking a whiz, and they have been known to swim up urethras and become lodged in with those spines.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Shout out to
Yeah,
the bench.
candiru, I believe, is the common name
Yep.
for that little guy.
The
Yep.
candiru, the bench of forbidden knowledge was waiting for you. Oh, I love that you brought this up.
And then those must be surgically removed.
Right. And didn't a biologist who went there purposefully try to get one and perform surgery on himself to retrieve it from inside his bladder area? I believe that was part of the story, right?
That one I have not heard.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay.
But you know
Oh,
what? It's
boy.
a great story. I'm not
Yes.
going to poo-poo on it.
No, have you seen it? Have you held a candiru yourself?
I have not. Like I said, I've been to the Amazon, but I've never done any serious collecting there.
Okay.
My stuff's southeastern North America, the Aral Sea Basin in Central Asia, and northwest Mexico. So I have not been in harm's way.
Okay. As I've held a preserved candiru at the California Academy of Sciences, and I gotta say, a shiver went through my spine.
Yeah.
Just looking at it. So
Yes.
thank you for that.
So that's probably the best fish story there is.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, that one's not bad. And then, you know, I've had these aren't going to make you shiver, but I've been pretty embarrassed on several expeditions. Like we were in northwest Mexico, and the common name amongst the Native Americans there for the Mexican trout is aparique. And so we were going around asking, we need aparique, where's aparique? And everyone would look at it strange. And finally, a couple of kids said, this way, in Spanish. And they hopped on their bicycles and they rode and rode and rode and rode and rode. We followed the truck and they rode and rode and followed the truck a little further. And then we finally, they jump off their bikes and they go down this hill. We're like, oh, cool. They're going to a stream. We're like, oh, good. This is going to be full of trout. And then they cross the stream and they start going back up the hill. We're like, what the? And halfway up the hill, they stop and they reach down and they pick up a plant and they say, aparique. So yes, it was also the name of a native flower.
Oh.
We spent a whole day looking for a flower and we thought we were looking for trout. That was a little embarrassing.
Amazing. Well, land fish, basically flowers, right? We can all agree.
Yes.
Flowers are just land fish.
Exactly.
Right? Let's start that here. Trout flower.
Trout flower. So yeah, that was one of my many embarrassing moments. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. We got people saying that flower is a little bit fishy.
Yes, it is. Totally fishy. And you know, other than near-death experiences, that's about it.
Well, wait, hold on.
Whoa.
Wait. What kind of near-death experiences are we talking about with the fish?
Just so, like, I'm in a cave, and the cavers I'm with, they're like, okay, see this 10-foot tall boulder here? It's not attached to anything. It just sits there. Whatever you do, don't touch it as we go around it because it likely will fall over and kill you.
Oh.
And so they went around it, and the next guy goes around it, and I go around and I slip and I fall right into it. It goes wobble, 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 wobble.
Oh
no.
It didn't fall over and crush me, but that was interesting.
Oh, whoa. You almost figured out what it was like to be Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I did.
Wow.
Like I said before, I'm not the most graceful biologist there is, so yeah.
Well, we're so glad you made it. You made it to the bench of forbidden knowledge here today to share.
Yes,
away
I'm
from,
glad I made it too.
Instead of being under the pancake of the boulder of clumsiness, I suppose.
Findiana Jones.
Yes, that there would have been a flattening of my career right there.
Yeah, talk about flatline. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think that's all I got.
Well, that's great.
Those were, yep.
The bench of forbidden
The
knowledge
bench of
has been
forbidden
blessed
knowledge
yet again with
lives
the greatest
on.
content.
Excellent.
Yeah, luckily, most of my field experiences are full of unicorns, sunshine, and rainbows.
Wonderful. the trifecta of a good time, of course.
Yes.
You got it.
Well, should we head out to the front of the museum, Emily? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good plan there, Patrick.
Run on out. And looks like Chad is really appreciative of you sharing that near-death story there, Bernie.
Good. If Shane Stacy is out there, he's remembering this and probably breaking into a cold sweat because he thought he lost me.
Oh, man.
Oh, no. Well.
What do you think, Emily?
This has been such a delight. We learned so much, Patrick.
We did. We got it. We were down by the freshwater streams. We're up here at the alpine ponds, and then I got to see that you two both prepared by having arapai-mores ready. It was really awesome. We learned so many things.
You mean
all
like
those
this?
Oh, come on. Oh, goodness. I'm leaving. Good job, everyone.
Oh, Patrick, come back. We love you.
No, you know what?
Get that guppy.
You know what I have?
Get that
The
guppy.
guppy, pull it out.
That's right. Good game, Guppy.
Good game.
There you go.
Let's get the arapai-mores back out there and the good game, Guppy. GG Gups. Oh,
Hey,
Guppy
guys,
in the middle.
thanks
Guppy in the middle, they're saying.
Oh,
That's right.
yeah,
That's right.
Guppy in the middle. Guppy in the middle.
Okay, hold on.
Thanks for inviting me. This has been a blast.
Oh, thank you
It
so
was
much.
so wonderful having you on. Thanks for carving some time out of your day. Oh no. Okay, hold on. We can figure this out. Cuz now I only see. Okay.
Wait.
If I stand behind you, Patrick, like a creeper, then there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
Wait. I think we got it.
There you go. Oh, that's the picture.
There
Booyah.
it is.
Yes, we did it.
Nice. The only bad thing is my fish shirt's covered up. Other than that, it's wonderful.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, can't have everything, I
Yes. Well, Bernie, thank you so much for joining us today, and thanks to you and Sarah for running around as Dr. Icky on the stream this afternoon, and for bearing with us while we had to reschedule this like 4 times. So we really appreciate your patience and willing to come onto this stream, even with all of those reschedules and everything, and for sharing all of your knowledge about all of the freshwater fish in the game and about fish that will swim up your urethra and the smorgasbord of everything that we have covered in topics this afternoon. If we can get a whole bunch of W's in the chat for Sarah and Dr. Bernie. You all were amazing today. I'm so glad that you were here.
Well, we were happy to be here.
So great. Thank you so much, Bernie. That was awesome.
Just remember, freshwater fishes rock.
That's right.
And thank you, Patrick, as always, for coming and joining us this afternoon, and for bringing with you our good game Guppy. We might have to make that an emote to to have
Yeah,
a
right.
GG guppy.
Yeah, no, GG Gups coming at
GG
you,
Gups.
hot from this freshwater stream. Everybody,
Yeah,
thanks for
maybe
being
we'll do
part of it.
an emote update for July and bring our Bafka emote and GG Guppy in there
GG Gups
to replace some of the ones. I think that'd be a good plan.
Absolutely.
As always, thank you to everyone who tuned in this afternoon. All of your questions that were over there in the chat, all of your support and chaos and happiness and everything. I know that this is definitely a highlight of Patrick and I's days every time. We get to come in and hang out with our Twitch family over here on our channel. And oh my gosh, thank you so much. We just have a whole bunch of gifted subs coming in from I'm once again going to mispronounce your handle there so badly. GD Anin Gdanin. No, that sounds like a yogurt. We're however I pronounce your name. See, GD See, okay, they confirmed. We did it, team. Thank you so much for your support. All of the money from all the bits and the subscriptions goes straight to help supporting the aquarium and all of the animals there. And so we really appreciate all of your support right now. Whether it is through subscribing bits, if you have an Amazon Prime account, using that to subscribe for free, it doesn't cost you a thing. We appreciate all of your support. Patrick, what else am I missing?
No, I mean, I think you pretty much covered all of that. Obviously, go take a look at Tennessee Aquarium social media over there. And if you are in the Tennessee area, looks like y'all are reopening tomorrow again. So take a look at their website for all of that information. And then for us over here at the aquarium, stay tuned for what's happening over here in our state. Things are moving along as well as we look to welcome you back. But in the meantime, it's so great to see you here on this stream. Always such a fun time hanging out with everybody here on Twitch and in the chat. Y'all are definitely the best.
Yes. And as always, you know that we love you and thank you so much for hanging out with us this afternoon. But remember, especially in these very strange and crazy times, to be kind to yourself and to be kind to each other. And we'll see you again soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Bernie.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Bernie.